everyone, I'm Chester44 and welcome to this Let's Play of Heaven's Vault. Last episode, we made our way to another site that we happened to find, and what is in this site? But what looks like an enormous dish. Possibly a transmission dish, but there's nothing it's transmitting to. And the gravity in the center is strangely low. Let's see, this is the only other structure there is. This looks like a door. Only it won't open. Is this some kind of mechanism? I can't see how to work it. Just lights. Please stand aside. The locking mechanism is internal and magnetic. There. How did you know how to do that? To my senses, it was a handle, mistress. Its mechanism was quite apparent.
A dark, cramped space, stuffed with metal and pipes and wires. It was like I'd turned into an ant and was now crawling around inside the robot.
These doors seem stuck. I can get my fingers in, but they won't budge. The power to that section appears to have failed. Can you divert more power that way? I am not some kind of plumber, mistress. Someone oversaw this site from here. But oversaw what? It can't have been a good job. It's uncomfortable, cramped. But robots do not care. This place was clearly abandoned. No disaster, no destruction. Whatever it once was, it became obsolete. There's something written here. Oh boy, that's a long one! This one is several words. Slowly but surely, words are getting much more complicated. Okay, we have we. We have mechanicals. Shows? Shows. Maybe that's not mechanicals then. We have buy. I'm putting words together to try and narrow it down. Watch. Trying to narrow down what it could be. I've done something wrong. Okay, axe is definitely not it. So we have buy. Shows. Of. Mechanicals, we watch. Yeah, something's wrong again. This doesn't feel right. So not shows. So we have buy, we have watch. We watch, that's almost certainly. Mechanicals of. Something's not right again. Mistress, that translation is clearly incorrect. There must be another phrasing. So not mechanicals. Maybe that is still of, though. Of, we... Watch. Buy. Oop. Buy. There we go. Okay, so... That one is speak, so do ground, do speak, something way. Port? By port of... Oof. Hold on, we watch... that's the opposite of light, there must be darkness. It can't be princesses. I don't see the god sign in there anywhere. And I see robot. It can't be ice. Guardians or masters? Port of Masters? By Port of Masters, we watch darkness. A master? But it has the symbols for robot in it, I think. Were robots in charge here, then? Oh, this is very curious. Stop that. Some kind of control panel. Did they have children working here? Based on its position just under the window, this must control something out there, but I can't see how to use it. 6. Can you operate this? That one controls the temperature of the floor, mistress. This one, however, appears more interesting. Can you work it out? I already have. There. I have activated the panel. You're sure the panel's done nothing since? No, mistress. It may well have done something, I simply cannot see what. Well, okay then. Let's see what's up here. What was that noise? I believe it was the lower door resealing itself, mistress. But you can open it again, can't you? I should think so, mistress. Does this one work? I do not believe so, mistress. It seems a lot of the wiring here has been rendered purely decorative by time. Good thing the control downstairs still works, but we'd be stuck in here. It does still work, doesn't it? Statistically, mistress, it will. Look at it. It's beautiful. Can you imagine ships coming to rest here, like flies on a flower? Some kind of tripod. There was something here once. An instrument of some kind. It's the wrong shape for a winch. I've seen this kind of tripod before. It's the same as the one on Janiki's moon, on the roof of the Hermitage near Maersi. Angled to look at the center of the crater, or else tilted up to the sky. Impossible to say for sure. Oh, something painted. This one is a fractured piece from an even longer phrase. Oh boy. Oh, we do have sell here? It doesn't seem right. We have take. We have you. And we have before. That can't be right. Mistress, that translation is clearly incorrect. There must be another possibility. It can't be sell. Brings? That has to be something else. Buy? Doesn't seem right. Then you... Wait, sell before you buy? Another long one, but I'm sure it translates to sell. And before must be right too. I'm certain of buy too. And that's the phrase. Sell before you buy. What is that phrase doing here? I've got a good feeling about that. It's a strange phrase to end up with here. Sell before you buy. Even if this was a port, what was it a port for? There's nothing out here. Definitely not a flagpole, some kind of lantern. There are no ropes and no fittings for any ropes. Evidently, it is a signal mast, a beacon, for sending something, somewhere. Iox has a similar one for sending messages. Where does the mast send to, Six? Wait, mistress. Yes, I believe I can deduce that. Interestingly, it correlates with the bearing on the old compass we found, mistress, but it is hardly accurate enough to pinpoint a target. This one's not empty. A telescope? The ladies in grey on Elbreth had a telescope on the roof. They encouraged us to look at Iox through it and dream. So this place is an observatory. Was the ruin near Myaersi an observatory too? The locations are interesting, mistress. Separated but aligned. They suggest a triangulation. We know Renba found a telescope on the crashed ship, another on the ruin near Myaersi. We found one more. Triangulation of something. The data is indeed thin. What would help? More telescopes, mistress. A triangulation requires 3 or more points. If we assume the scope aboard the ship was bound for or taken from somewhere near Elbereth. Wait, mistress. Wait for what? What do you have to say? Oh, wait. The tripod. It's just like the one I found on the Hermitage where Renba died. But this place is old. Much older than the Empire. Assuming all those tripods were set up at the same time. Is this it? The observatory that Renba wanted me to find. Mistress, you have spoken to Renba? Outside the Hermitage where Renba died, Six. I spoke to Renba, or an echo of him. He told me to find an observatory, and now we have. Interesting. And yet there is nothing here. Let's see now. Oh! There's no eyepiece. What's the use of that? So what was this place observing? The rivers. Nothing else seems plausible to me, mistress. I hope this isn't Renba's observatory. If it is, then I'm definitely missing something. There's nothing here. This looks like it comes free. And there's an inscription on it. It's minuscule. This one is a fractured fragment from a longer phrase. That one might be distant. Watch distant treasure? This doesn't feel right. Ah! Stop! Stop! I can't select it because it won't let me. Nothing. I can solve it, just... There. Now I can. It was weird what happened. Watch distant stars. Watch the distant stars. Okay. What do you make of the telescope, Six? Indeed, most interesting. So, what is it? It is a recording device, mistress. There is a arabesque foil at its apex. Recording what? If this device is a telescope, perhaps it has been recording the movements of the sky. Perhaps the button did something at the hatch at the center here. Oh, wait, that's the way in. Perhaps there was a telescope device in the stand on the roof of the ruin near Maersi. Perhaps Janaki took it. That might imply our telescope contains extractable data. Open the door, 6. Mistress. Ah. Open the door, 6. It would seem the power to this control is not entirely functional. Presumably the system has not been used or maintained in some time. Are you saying we're trapped in here? After a fashion, yes. So hopper us out of here. I am afraid the line of sight required is not available. We can head for the roof. An excellent idea, mistress. Please wait where you are. I will return momentarily. Arg. 6? Mistress? That was impressive, 6. Thank you, mistress. It appeared to solve the problem. You could hopper yourself out and then back in, or escape. Or, I guess, throw yourself off the roof. I have fixed the lock, mistress. It will not close again. Though I don't think we'll need to go back in. But we are going to investigate down here in the center. Mistress. Yes, 6? I have a result, mistress. Have you finished a calculation? A triangulation of the telescopes, mistress, that Renba found. Assuming they were recording devices, transmitting data to each other and to a central source. Assuming they were positioned deliberately to cover a particular sector of the nebula from many angles, while maintaining a line of sight to that central source. Mistress, I believe I have found Renba's observatory. Evidently it is far further than we have ever been. So what was this place? I suppose it's the right shape to be the Serpent's Eye. We know it was run by robots. Some kind of recording station. Observing the rivers. The crater itself is most likely a dock. A place for ships to land. Low gravity in the crater helped ships to take off from here. You have acquired 2 ancient artifacts here, the scrap of paper and the telescope device. We have also located one new location, Renba's Lost Observatory. May I activate the hopper now, mistress? I want to get down to the center of the crater first. And we know we have a way down right over here. Well then, I'll float down. You coming? I will follow. On my treads. Here goes. By the goddess! Made it! Can we make the climb back? Ordinarily, I would say no. The air is thin, as you observed. However, in this case, I believe it will be possible. The gravity really is low. I feel like a child again. I'm glad to hear that. I wouldn't want to be stuck down here. Evidently, it is of no concern, mistress. There is always the hopper. The pupil of the Serpent's Eye. 6, it's warm. Mistress, please. Surely it can't be powered. It may draw power from the rivers. Given the curious gravity effect, there was perhaps once an upriver here. An upriver? For launching ships? And the surface we're on is a dock? If this crater really had an upriver under that hatch, 6, that raises so many questions. Where has the river gone? Was it artificial? Can you make a river? Divert one? Did the ancients make the nebula using uprivers? Could we change it for ourselves? I do not know, mistress. If there was an upriver here, does that mean there's water after all? Perhaps there is a wellspring directly below the opening, mistress. The water was directed into the river rather than saturating this moon. What is this thing? I cannot tell, mistress. It resembles a well, but I do not believe there is a wellspring anywhere here. Let's see if I can... An opening, mistress. Opening. If there was an upriver here, then what was the hatch for? Why was it closed? Fascinating, mistress. Closing off a river. What would that even mean, Six? To close off a river. A river is water and force line. The force line would remain, but without the water it could not be sailed. Still, the water would have to go somewhere. Perhaps the crater was flooded. That would explain the moss we saw. I do not think the river was controlled in order to harvest moss, mistress, but perhaps the water was used elsewhere. Another river, perhaps. Did our ancestors really have the power to control the shape of the nebula, Six? That's incredible. But how does such a power get lost? Robots, mistress. This was clearly operated by robots. The process of controlling the river is automated until the process was forgotten. Then the robots were removed, the process was lost. How far down do you think it goes, Six? I could not say, mistress. All the way to the core, perhaps. What core there is. Evidently it is very hard to measure. Can you shine a light down there? After a fashion, mistress. Crystals. It's lined with iolite crystals, like the one Renba left on Maersi. The same as the crystals on board the crashed ship Renba dug up. Indeed, mistress. Let's see where this goes. Do not move, mistress. If you attempt to annihilate yourself by entering a vertical drop, I will hopper you immediately. Then if you are falling, I might only get half of you. I know what I'm doing. It is abundantly clear that you do not. Step away. Step back. All right. Well then, mistress, your obedience is appreciated. Did you say obedience? I am not obedient. Very good, mistress. So long as you do what I say, I do not mind the verb you use. All right then, Slisset. If that's how you're going to be, now stay there like a good dog. Here goes. Huh. What is above? I bounced off it. Mistress, how did you... Mistress, are you intact? I think so. Bless the moons. It seems clear. This hatch was the locus of an ancient upriver. Depleted now, perhaps, but still active. You did not fly, mistress. You sailed. You said the gravity effect was localized around that pit where the crystals are. Yes, mistress. Although before you conclude that the crystals bend gravitational force lines, mistress, I would remind you that correlation and causation are themselves only correlated. So you think the crystals do bend gravity? They appeared to do so, yes. So the crystals here, they alter gravity, and they still work. Incredible. Painted symbols. There's a few words in this one. Okay, I see waters and I see of. I see flows, I see river, I see towards. I believe you are correct with flows, mistress. Rivers, flows, towards something of waters. We have this here, which is togetherness. Go, rocks, togetherness. I want to say junction. Rivers flow. That makes sense. River flows towards a junction of waters. A junction. This place, or where the upriver went? Can you take a bearing? I can, mistress. I should note the bearing is not the same as that from the antenna mast. The boat that Renba found, 6. Did it use crystals to help it sail? An excellent theory, mistress. Certainly it would require help to rise and land. I'll wait for you to take your bearing. This may take a minute. So, I'm still curious. If this is a dock, what was it a dock for? Maybe Roy can help explain these crystals. The crystal is not mechanical, mistress, and I would advise caution. Caution? Why? It seems to me that a crystal capable of storing a gravity-manipulating force is potentially a seismic discovery with complex ramifications. It may not be something you wish to give to Roy. You mean gravity crystals are something I shouldn't give to Elbereth? You're worried about... what? That they'll use them to drive ships through the dead space and approach Iox without coming in via the river gates? I have no concerns, mistress. I am a robot, after all. But I should think Professor Mayari might. She was not happy when you gave that crown to Arroy, after all. And that's if Arroy would even be willing to help us. Also, did you make a pun? I think you made a pun, 6. I thought you said iolite was worthless. Now you think it bends gravity. I do not think the crystal bends gravity. I believe it stores some kind of force which does. It must have been collected and applied here. Well, I'm waiting patiently for you to finish your calculations. Is it possible to alter gravity itself, the way you said? Indeed it is, mistress. In fact, it is necessary. When you said necessary, what did you mean by that? The strength of gravity between two objects is a known quantity, mistress. Evidently it is based on the separation and the masses of those objects. But most moons in the nebula are thin sheets of rock. They do not have enough mass to exert the gravity that they do. Something within the rock must therefore increase the gravity. But momentum cannot simply be created. Therefore, an increased gravity in one location must be countered by a lessening somewhere. The crystals, including the ones Renba found in the hatch of that buried ship, they do not reduce gravity, mistress. Rather, they have been induced to contain an absence of it. What? Okay. Have you finished your extrapolation or triangulation yet? Mistress, I do not believe the iolite in the crater here is natural. I believe the crystals have been set in place. There's no natural iolite in this moon. No, mistress. It has been brought here at some complexity, to be charged with force from the upriver. Ships came here to collect crystals from the hatch, maybe, to use them to flick themselves forwards. Perhaps the crystals don't create the upriver, perhaps the upriver charges the crystals. It is very hard to say anything for certain, mistress. Indeed it is. What is that underneath? Is that supposed to be water or something? A ship near Elbereth must have been carrying crystals from here, which proves this was some kind of dock. But why build such a large dock for such a small mine? One big ship could have cleared it out. We can infer they were distributing crystals to multiple ships. Very odd. There's nothing more here. Have we learned anything new? It's likely this is the Serpent's Eye. This was some kind of charging point for storing gravity effects inside the eyelite. So the Serpent's Eye was a port, a place where large ships came to restock, run by robots, and later used for observations of the sky. Shall I use the hopper one more time, mistress? Very well, do it. Leave the moon. Stand by, mistress. Why do I have the feeling that we're just going to be taken right to the map? So this is a Serpent's Eye. Location of the observatory Renbo was looking for. I need to be able to quit and save. Please tell me we'll be on the Nightingale. Yay! I'll take it. So that was the Serpent's Eye. Some kind of landing bay for ships, built above a crystal focus to make takeoff easier. But why land there at all? There's nothing on this moon apart from the bay itself, except the crystals. Definitely the same crystal as inside the hatch in the metal cover. Must have been useful somehow for making the upriver. There's the telescope device. From the roof of the Serpent's Eye crater. I still don't really understand what this thing is. Some kind of robot contraption for robots. Mistress. Nothing else to look at here. Let me see. Are there any... We do have some solvable inscriptions here. Okay, the wooden sword had one last time before death. Buy and sell and be safe. They call it a serpent goddess, and yet it's associated with money and trade. Carry crystals from Serpent's Eye. From the Serpent's Eye. Emperor guards this place. Okay. The Emperor guards this place, and... Goddess welcomes you. The Goddess welcomes you. Then we have all these other inscriptions that we have not solved. Of which there are so very many. Yeah, 15 days ago. Interesting thing, 15 days ago was probably around when I started all this. In real life. So it does actually measure time in a way. Still, not much I can figure out there. And now we have here... Oh, really? There's one there. Ooh, maybe we can get to it. We've narrowed down the side of the ancient library, but I think we should go back to Iox and Elbereth and investigate there. Renba's Lost Observatory is very far away. We can't get to it. But we've also got this unknown ancient site, the pre-Empire site. I think the ancient library is probably where we'll go to next, after we go back to Iox and Elbereth. But that will be in the next episode, because this one has gone on long enough. Till then, I'm Chester44, that is Aaliyah and 6. This has been a Let's Play of Heaven's Vault, and I shall see you all next time.